Good morning, beloveds. This is Sugar this morning. She thinks she's a parrot. She loves nothing better than sitting on shoulders. Mine are not as broad as my husband's, but it doesn't matter. So it's a little trickier for her to do it to me, but she can just lay down across his shoulders in the back. She can be very clingy when she doesn't feel good. So we'll see. We'll see how this works. In a minute, she'll probably be distracted by something and then go tearing off. It's Monday, and I have the next 3 days off, or well, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday off, because I'm going to the ministers' gathering, which normally I can't do because it coincides with the opening of the Renaissance Festival, and it's somewhere, far away, but it's online. And now, so I was like, this is a great time to take some time off. The other thing that I've learned about myself is that I have to have a reason to take time off, and I need to get over that. I need to be willing to take time off to do nothing, to not have somewhere to go or something to do, to just take a mental health day. I drive myself a little hard sometimes. So, food for thought. Do you take time off just because, or do you have to have a reason to not go to work? Do not get me wrong. I love my job. I love what I do to pay my mortgage. It's what I call it my mortgage paying job. It's it's very satisfying and fulfilling, and then some days it's not, but it's work. But I am loath to take time off just to be. And Amit Goswami would say, remember that you are a human being, not a human doing. So occasionally you need to take time off just to be. So that's what I'm going to do this week. All right. She hasn't gone far. She's just moved down to my lap, and now she's gone. So, she had a very fantastic purr going on the whole time in my ear, though. So, September 14th, it is Monday, and our title today is, I Recognize Physical Perfection as My Divine Birthright. Whither shall I flee from thy presence? Is the Bible quote from Psalm 139:7. Cat hair. There is one life, that life is God, and that life is my life now. It is only when we live affirmatively that we can be happy. It is only as we seek the good that we can find it. It is only as we mentally align our consciousness with abundance that it can seek us out. We have been told to behold the face of God forevermore in everything. Now we know that we do not really see God any more than we see life. No one has ever seen life, but everyone has experienced it through living. No one has ever seen God, but some people have experienced God's presence so completely that their whole life has become a continual affirmation of peace, poise, and power. All persons have experienced this presence to some degree. It is not entirely unknown to anyone. Being told to behold God's face forevermore means that we should recognize life, poise, power, peace, joy in and through everything and everyone. This has been called practicing the presence of God. We can all do this with the certainty of splendid results. Today, I recognize the divine presence in everything. In the midst of darkness, I see light. At midnight, I sing a song to the dawn. knowing that eternal light dissipates all darkness. Today I recognize the beauty in the midst of ugliness, peace in the midst of confusion. Today I convert all doubt into certainty, all sorrow into joy, all fear into faith. All right. So let's get into this, because I'm not sure where he's going today. I just find it ironic that I recognize physical perfection as my divine birthright the day I go to the gym. And one of the best things about my trainer is that his uncle's is actually a physical therapist. So as much as I've aggravated my knee, he has gone a long way to helping, and I left with a list of stretches today. Okay. So if you listen to Reverend Jesse, ever, he starts all of his prayers with "There is one life, that life is God, and that life is my life now." It's a direct quote from Ernest Holmes. Most of us do it. Because, for two reasons. One, it's how we're trained. Literally, it's how we're trained. Those are the words that we use in training, and it's what we're taught. But it's also what we believe. There is one life. That life is God. Not it's the life of God. It is God. Life is God. God is life. And that life is my life now. I am a living embodiment of a tiny splinter of that presence. I'm not going to say that I am God. I'm going to say I'm a tiny splinter of that presence. And every life around me is part of that presence. It is only when we live affirmatively that we can be happy. I mean, when you're negative, are you happy? When you're positive, it's pretty good. So the more negative words that you hear in your head, then it's really time to look at your internal dialogue and see if you can't change your internal dialogue to be more positive. And one way to do that is you start to change your external dialogue. You become more aware of what you speak out loud, and then you start to listen to how you speak to yourself in your head. I mean, you're going to speak to yourself more than anybody else ever. One, you're going to speak to yourself more than you speak to other people, and two, you are going to speak to yourself more than other people speak to you. It should be more happy than it should be more positive than negative. I'm not saying it's not going to be negative. I'm not saying there aren't times that it should be negative. But there are times, but you need to be listening to the way that you're talking to yourself. Because remember, when you are talking to yourself, you are talking to God. You are talking to Spirit. You are talking to the universe. It is only as we seek the good that we can find it. Do you always find what you're looking for? Why are you looking for the negative? Look for the good. It is only as we mentally align our consciousness with abundance that it can seek us out. Hafiz, joy is running through the streets looking for you ever since it heard your name. So go look for joy because it's looking for you. Mentally align our consciousness, and it goes back to guarding our thoughts. It goes back to being aware of what we are talking, the way we are talking to ourselves. One of the first times that I went into, I've been in and out of therapy oftentimes, but one of the times that sent me, and I'll say screaming back into therapy, was I was playing a video game. And I heard the way I was talking to myself over a video game. And I went, this ain't right. I need to fix this. And so I went and I paid a professional to help me analyze my internal dialogue and to change my internal dialogue. To be more positive, to be better. And I was a lot happier once I started to do that. So there are professionals, and you can use a therapist. I normalize mental health, normalize going to a therapist, normalize when you hear how you're talking to yourself, you know, go and get an attitude adjustment in whatever way you want to, you know, whatever it takes to get that attitude adjustment. Be aware of your internal dialogue. All right. We have been told to behold the face of God forevermore in everything. Now we know that we do not really see God any more than we see life. Okay. We have been told to behold the face of God forevermore in everything. Now we know that we do not really see God any more than we see life. No one has ever seen life, but everyone has experienced it through living. Okay. No one has ever seen God, but some people have experienced God's presence so completely that their whole life has become a continual affirmation of peace, poise, and power. So Teresa of Avila was so enamored with God that that's how she lived her life. That would be one. The advantage here is that I was raised Catholic, so I can pull those saints out. But who do you know in your life that you know has experienced God so completely that they live that way? I would wager that most of the ministers have been touched by God in a way that they cannot deny. For many of us, that's what set us on the path. It's like we had this experience we can't explain, and so we continued to move into places that eventually, you know, brought us into the ministry, because we couldn't explain what we had experienced. So we're surrounded by people who have had experiences that we can't explain, but we understand each other. We understand that we've had experiences that we can't explain, but that have made us feel and made us live differently. So that's something to contemplate. The fact that we've never seen God, just like we've never seen life, because it surrounds us. We're not outside of it. We're experiencing it, not seeing it. Something to contemplate. I will work on that. All persons have experienced this present to some degree. It is not entirely unknown to anyone. So everybody has been touched by God to some degree, and probably everybody's been touched to a degree that they're not. There are people going to be in your life that have been touched by God that they're unaware of. Because it's small ways. And then there's others who have just been, and I'm going to use the word, struck by lightning. Probably most of your Catholic saints were, I would say, struck by, they had such a life-altering experience. So you have been touched by God. Go back through your experiences and look. Because they will be the ones that stand out to you going, I don't understand why this happened the way it did, but hey. Or that shouldn't have worked out the way it did, but hey. You know, that's probably where your experiences are. If you are not aware of them. That would be a place to start. Being told to behold God's face forevermore means that we should recognize life, poise, power, peace, joy in and through everything and everyone. And that's one of Ernest's go-to. All of these, and he lists them. He started with the 3 P's and then added in some more. Life, poise, power, peace, joy, in and through everything. Do you think plants feel joy? Look for evidence. Do you think animals feel joy? Look for evidence. Tom saw one yesterday. When we have fruit that isn't quite, this picky one won't eat it, he will put it out on the back porch because we have some squirrels in the neighborhood. We actually have a squirrel that lives in one of our trees. And so this squirrel was so excited by this apple that it dragged it over a tree and was literally hunched over it. Do you think that that squirrel was in joy? I do. So look for the poise, look for the peace, look for the joy, look for the power in things that you wouldn't expect it to be in, because there's your evidence of God. We can give up the old man in the chair with the book and start seeing God, or start experiencing God in the little things. In the wind in the trees, in the squirrels running across your roof, the cat on your shoulder. This has been called practicing the presence of God. And I've never heard it described that way. And I love that idea of practicing the presence of God. To look for life, power, poise, peace, and joy in and through everything and everyone. We can all do this with the certainty of splendid results. Because who doesn't want to look for joy? Who doesn't want to look for joy? I mean, the joy in others is truly one of the most spectacular things, because I love to see other people happy. I really do. It's one of the reasons why I'm funny. Because if I can make you smile and I can make you laugh, it's going to be okay. Even if we have to laugh through our tears. Today, I recognize the divine presence in everything. In the midst of darkness, I see light. At midnight, I sing a song to the dawn, knowing that eternal light dissipates all darkness. At midnight, I sing a song to the dawn, knowing that the eternal light dissipates all darkness. So, I'm not talking about the midnight on the clock. I don't think he's talking about the midnight on the... I think he's talking about that moment in our lives, those moments in our lives when we've hit it. We've hit the darkness. And things look hard and things look scary. So sing to the dawn. Sing with the anticipation that it is going to get better. Sing to the eternal light that will come, because it's coming. It's there. It's within you. Sing to bring it out. Today, I recognize the beauty in the midst of ugliness, peace in the midst of confusion. And really, honestly, I would say that's practicing the pause. When everything around you is ugly, when everything around you is confusing, pause. Stop for a minute and look for the beauty. And look for the peace. And realize that it's coming from here. It comes through here out into there. So know that where your peace is, know where your beauty is. It's here and here. And once you find it here and here, it's there. Today, I convert all doubt into certainty, all sorrow into joy, all fear into faith. And I will remind you that what I have decided to call faith is imagination plus trust. I can imagine a better future and trust that it's coming. I have faith. So, today, our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to recognize the divine presence in everything, and He's given us the keys to look for. He's given us the to look for life, to look for poise, to look for power, to look for peace, and to look for joy. And that is the divine presence. That is an invitation to experience God. It's not a small mission today. But remember that the power to carry out the mission isn't coming from you. It is coming through you from Spirit. And it is an inexhaustible supply, and it is always available to your willingness to accept it. So, I am going to move into the process of my day. Yay! I'm going to be online with the ministers at 11. I'm so excited. So I'm going to invite you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself today. Every day. Whatever that looks like to you. Do something that engages your mind and your body. It's really nice right now. Open your windows and get some fresh air, get some fresh perspective. And as I learned from Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul and allow the breath of heaven to come in to remind you that you live in heaven now. So get that fresh perspective and get the Rita. All right. I will be back with you. Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today, and I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Just because I am on vacation does not mean I'm taking a vacation from this. All right, beloveds, do what you need to do to make this a fantastic day.